If you call me a colonizer, I'm gonna make you fucking cry, and I'm not gonna feel bad about it, okay? It's not my fault that my ancestors were better at fighting than yours. Okay, it's not my fault your ancestors were so bad at fighting they got fucking colonized. Maybe your ancestors should have fucking fought better. Maybe your ancestors should have been better at fighting, but no! They fucking sucked at fighting, and that's why we won. Not my fault. Maybe your ancestors were just weak little bitches.
Calling a white person a colonizer really isn't the insult that you think it is, because you're basically admitting that my ancestors were better than your ancestors. And to my fellow nizers out there, if someone calls you a colonizer, take it as a compliment, because they're basically saying that your ancestors were better at war than their ancestors. And that's why their ancestors got colonized. If they didn't want to get colonized, maybe they should have fought harder. Maybe they should have invented the wheel. Maybe they should have pulled a 1776. But they didn't, because they're weak little bitches who got colonized. That's not your fault nor your problem. Take it as a compliment, because it is. Your ancestors were better than theirs. That's why your ancestors won the war. Oh, and as far as like the whole, calling white people slaves masters, first off, the majority of white people didn't own slaves. And second, everybody's been a slave, like everybody's ancestors has been a slave at some point. And third, it was actually the Muslims who invented what we perceive as the Atlantic slave trade. The Atlantic slave trade actually started as a Silk Road slave trade, and that slave trade is still going on today. So, yeah, if you want to blame anybody for slavery, blame the Muslims.
Shalom, Yasharallah. It's your brother Darash Shamat, and I'm back with another lesson. And before we get started, I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahushai, by Hashem, and Kakodash. Double honor to the elders and apostles at Great Millstone for bringing out this truth. And shalom to the hopeful elect, which includes 144,000 the rest of the elect out there scattered around the world, including those speck of bird Israelites who may look like the other nations, but are not. This is not a black thing. You are who you are according to the seed of your fathers, and the Israelites were scattered all around this world. And they look like these nations. But, like I said, you are who you are through the seed of your father. And this word goes out to the 12 tribes scattered abroad, because the scriptures were written unto the nation Israel. I'm going to title this one Shameful Spewing. So you saw the intro. This is definitely Idumean. You can just tell by her pride. And, it's the scripture say they hold themselves not guilty. Okay? They don't understand that it was actually them. Like they are their ancestors. But they don't get that. They think that they don't have any blame for this. But they want to still, bask in that glory, even though there's great shame coming upon them for all the things that they've done. And that's kind of what we are going to get into just a little bit today. But she says some things I just wanted to address straight up. Her ancestors were better at fighting. No, they were not. The gift that her ancestors had was the sword. They were blessed with the sword, so they had good weapons. Okay? Especially in America, when they came over here, the natives were messing them up. They got over on the natives with treachery and lies. They would come to them with the peace deal, and then they would betray them at the peace deal. They would do this repeatedly, and they broke hundreds of treaties. Okay, you can see a good example of this now, with Iran. They're doing the same things. That's their playbook. Oh, let's come to a peace deal. Then boom, there goes your president. Right there. They done took out your leader. And they just continue to do this over and over again. Okay? So they were just evil. Okay? They fought dirty. Okay? Giving people diseases. Things like that. But they were not better at fighting. All right? They just used wicked tactics. They had no honor. And that's why it's shameful. Okay? So, this is Habakkuk chapter 2. And, before we get into that, she also said that, everybody's been in some form of captivity before. Well, what I got to do with this? Nothing. The situation is who you put into captivity. That's the problem. That's what you don't understand. You touched the Israelites, the apple of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai's eye. So you're going to have to pay. You see, all these other nations are going into captivity too. But unlike they will receive some mercy after. There is no mercy for the Edomites. Y'all getting completely done away with. Okay? All that pride and everything, we're going to see how far that gets you, and it's not going to be very far. So, enjoy while it lasts. This is Habakkuk chapter 2 and verse 16. Thou art filled with shame for glory. Drink thou also, and let thy foreskin be uncovered. The cup of Yahweh's right hand shall be turned unto thee, and shameful spewing shall be on thy glory. Okay? So all that stuff y'all was happy about, all the history and atrocities that y'all done that you're so proud of, yeah, we conquerors and this and that, it's going to all turn into shame. You'll be ashamed. Okay? You'll be ashamed of your ungodly fathers. Say, drink thou also. So you're about to be drunk. Okay? Come down, sit in the dust, O daughter of Babylon. All right? So you're about to go back into that state of confusion. All right? Let thy foreskin be uncovered. You're getting exposed every day, all the time. Okay? There's no more wisdom in teaming. Y'all not moving smart anymore. All your history showing up. Your allies are turning their back on you. All the wicked deeds that your people have done is coming to light. The cup of Yahweh's right hand shall be turned unto thee. That judgment is coming. You're not going to escape it. There's no way to run. But we'll get into that a little bit later. And shameful spewing shall be upon thy glory. Everywhere you look, people are going to be talking about you and the wickedness that you've done and spewing shame upon you. So if we go into this word, shameful spewing, right here, and it says disgrace, shame, okay? Intense disgrace, shameful spewing. Now if we look at the root word for that, it goes back and it says shame, disgrace, dishonor, ignominy, okay? And I looked that up in the, etymology online. It means deep personal humiliation, public disgrace, or shame. But you see here in the outline biblical usage, it says of a nation. So your whole nation is going to be subject to deep shame, public disgrace, deep humiliation. That's what's coming for y'all. It's like it talks about in Isaiah the 14th chapter, where it talks about the heathens looking down on them and saying, have you become as weak as we? Okay? So that's coming. Now let's go to the book of Proverbs, chapter 18, verse 3, and it says, when the wicked cometh, then cometh also contempt, and with ignominy reproach. So that comes with y'all. Because y'all are the border of wickedness. Okay? Not just, them, but being wicked. Okay? But y'all are wicked. So that deep shame goes right along with your wickedness. That's your reward. That is the reward that you've built up for yourself. I hope you enjoy it. I really do. Now let's go to Proverbs chapter 11, verse 2. And it says, when pride cometh, then cometh shame. She sounded real proud of the atrocities that our ancestors had done. Then cometh shame. But with the lowly is wisdom, the meek. Okay? Moving smaller. Now let's jump forward to Proverbs chapter 13. Go down to verse 18. It says, poverty and shame shall be to him that refuseth instruction, but he that regardeth reproof shall be honored. See, Esau, he didn't take the instruction. He wouldn't follow the scriptures. Even though they took Yahweh Shem Yahshua's covenant to them out, they can't follow it. Okay? So poverty and shame is coming. You have all of this. You done gained the whole world, but you about to lose it all. These ill-gotten gains. You about to cough them all up. And let's go to Psalms chapter 50, You go down to verse 16. It says, "But unto the wicked," meaning these Edomites, power said, "What hast thou to do to declare my statutes, or that thou shouldest take my covenant in thy mouth?" Because it's not for them. Okay? They want to say they're the people, saying that they go keep the laws and all that. They're not. They don't. "Seeing thou hatest instruction, and castest my words behind thee." Okay? They use the book as what, a placeholder, just to try to, steal the identity and act like there is people, but they're not. "When thou sawest a thief, then thou contendest with him, and hast been partaker with adulterers." You see somebody doing some wickedness, stealing, you be like, "I could do it better." Ha. That's the Edomite. Always, they can't sleep unless they devise some wickedness, man. "Thou givest thy mouth to evil, and thy tongue framest deceit." The natural born liars. You see it every day with DJ Trump. "Thou sittest and speakest against thy brother," the Israelites. "Thou slanderest thy own mother's son." Okay? Every time something's going on with Esau doing something crazy, they want to throw Jacob there. All right? Oh, look at what he doing. All right? Try to paint them as the bad ones, when y'all the people who raped, robbed, and murdered the whole world. Verse 21, "These things thou hast done, and I kept silence. Thou thoughtest that I was altogether such and one as thyself, but I will reprove thee and set them in order before thine eyes." So now you see the Israelites learning who they are, getting their stuff together. You thought Yahweh Shem Yahshua was on your side because he wasn't moving, but now he is. He's showing you that he ain't with you. Now let's go to the book of Sirach, or Ecclesiasticus, chapter 10, down to verse 7. It says, "Pride is hateful before power and man, and by both doeth one commit iniquity. Because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches gotten by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another. Why is earth and ashes proud? There is not a more wicked thing than a covetous man, for such and one setteth his own soul to sale, because while he liveth he cast away his bowels." Right? So pride, it's not good to be prideful. Okay? We know that pride cometh before a fall, but it is wicked. It's hateful. Okay? We have no reason to be proud, but that is the Edomite. That's their nature. They can't help it. Because of unrighteous dealings. So, what unrighteous dealings? Okay? The way you got these laws set up, the way you deal with these other nations, the way you break your covenants. Okay? Attacking people while y'all at peace, while y'all talking through peace deals. That's unrighteous dealings. Injuries and riches gotten by deceit. You stole all of this. You stole the land that you're living on. You don't even live in your homeland. Everything that you got, your inventions, everything. I mean, the first gun wasn't even made by an Edomite. It was the Moabites. Y'all stole everything. The kingdom is translated from one people to another. Okay, that statue in Daniel chapter 2, we're at the feet right now. And that great stone, which is Yahweh Shai, fixing to come down and smash all of these kingdoms to pieces. And the kingdom is going to be given to the Israelites. The saints shall take the kingdom. Why is earth and ashes proud? Like, what do you have to be proud of? You think you're in control of all of this? No, this was all set up by Yahweh Shem Yahushai, the way that things played out in history. But you haven't considered your latter end. So just wait and see what happens. There is not a more wicked thing than a covetous man. You see it and you want it. Everything somebody else got. Okay? You see those people oil over there, you want it. Okay? You see that land, you want it. You want everything. But it's never enough. Okay? As you enlarge it, your desire is hell. For such an one setteth his own soul to sale. because while he liveth, he casted away his bowels. Okay, and that's going into a person who is consumed by greed or covetousness. So he abandons capacity for like empathy and humanity, and they become heartless, and they put their own soul and humanity at risk for gain. Okay, and so that's what the Edomites have done. They've casted away their humanity and their empathy for gain. Now, let's go to the book of Psalms. Let's go 55, verse 20. And it says, he had put forth his hands against such as be at peace with him. He had broken his covenant. And that's what you did to the natives, the Native Americans. That's how you conquered this country, because they was whipping y'all. Okay? Y'all had to fight dirty. All right? And look what you did with the Iranians. The whole world saw that. Okay? During 2 peace deals, not just one, you struck them. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. They get in your face, talk all this jazz, trying to talk smooth to you, and then they thinking about how they can murk you. But war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords. So never trust thine enemy. And let's go to the book of Revelations, chapter 13. It says, verse 9, if any man have an ear, let him hear. So if you could get it, get it. If you could understand this, understand it. If you could hear what the Spirit says. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. And who took the Israelites into captivity? All of these nations. So all y'all going into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. So that get back. You don't get to escape from this. You don't get to be scot-free. You were so happy that your ancestors conquered and did all of these things to other people. Well, you did it to the wrong group of people, the Israelites. So it's going to come back on you. Here is the patience and faith of the saints. And who are the saints? The saints are the Israelites. Those who Yahweh Shai Shai made a covenant with. And they're waiting for that get back. And this is Psalm chapter 50, verse 5. Gather my saints together unto me, those that have made a covenant with me by sacrifice, which are the Israelites. Now, let's go to Zechariah, chapter 2, and verse 8. And it says, for thus said Yahweh of hosts, after the glory hath he sent me unto the nations, which spoiled you. Who did they spoil? The Israelites. For he that toucheth you toucheth the apple of mine eye. For behold, I will shake my hand upon them, and they shall be a spoil to their servants. And ye shall know that Yahweh of hosts has sent me. So guess what? We served y'all, so y'all go serve us. Y'all are about to get spoiled. All you nations, but especially the nation of Edom. Now let's go to Lamentations, chapter 4, down to the bottom. Lamentations 4 and 21. Rejoice and be glad, O daughter of Edom, that dwellest in the land of Uz. The cup also shall pass through unto thee. Thou shalt be drunken and shall make thyself naked. So that cup is that judgment. The cup that the Israelites had to drink, they're going to be passed on to the Edomites. The punishment of thine iniquity is accomplished, O daughter of Zion. So the Israelites are at the end of their punishment. He will no more carry thee away into captivity. He will visit thine iniquity, O daughter of Edom. He will discover thine sins. So that lower state that the Israelites have been in, the curses, all that's about to be passed on to Esau. And these other nations go be under the curses too. But Esau's going to get the worst of it. Okay? Now, let's finish off with Jeremiah, the 49th chapter. This is Jeremiah 49 and verse 12. And it says, for thus said Yahweh, behold, they whose judgment was not to drink of the cup have assuredly drunken. Who is that? That's talking about the Israelites, okay? And art thou he that shall altogether go unpunished? And so, because Esau thinks that he's not going to get punished for the deeds that he's done. They don't believe that they're their ancestors. They believe that, oh, that's in the past, let bygones be bygones, or we still going to be proud about what our ancestors did. No, you go get got. Thou shalt not go unpunished, but thou shalt surely drink of it. For I have sworn by myself, said Yahweh, that Basra shall become a desolation, a reproach, a waste, a curse, and all the cities thereof shall be perpetual waste. So Basra, that big capital stronghold in Edom, modern day, that would be considered America. As we know through the prophecies, this place will get done in by thermonuclear destruction, and this place will be a perpetual wasteland. So the scripture considers the Edomites as the people of Yahweh's curse. You see that in the book of Isaiah. I believe it's 24. But that's the judgment that's coming. So I hope this Shalom was edifying. Shalom, Yasharallah.